You think being nice keeps people close. You think being open builds connection. You think being available makes them stay. It doesn't. It makes you easier to forget. The truth is hard to hear. People don't obsess over what's comfortable. They obsess over what they can't understand, over what's missing, over what disappears and says nothing. You want to be chased? Stop chasing. You want to be respected? Stop explaining. Power comes from space, not closeness. Obsession grows in silence, not comfort. This video will show you why being less is how you become more. Not fake, not dramatic, just disciplined. If you've ever been overlooked, taken for granted, or replaced too easily, this is for you. The 5 laws of scarcity will change how they see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Law 1. The obsession law. People don't get obsessed with what they fully understand. They get obsessed with what's uncertain, with what keeps them guessing. When you're always available, always replying, always showing up, you remove the tension. You make yourself easy to figure out. And what's easy gets ignored. Obsession doesn't grow when you give people more of you. It grows when you give them less. Just enough to grab their interest, then you pull back. That distance creates space, and space creates tension. They start wondering what happened. They check their phone more. They replay your last words. That's how obsession begins. Scarcity is not a weakness, it's a tactic. When your presence feels rare, it becomes more valuable. People chase what feels limited. That's how we're wired. If something is always within reach, we stop thinking about it. But if it disappears, even for a short time, we notice, we miss it. We start to assign meaning to it. That's why being less available makes you more powerful. You don't have to be rude or cold. You just have to stop giving yourself away so easily. Let people earn your time. Let them feel your absence. Most people try too hard. They think constant attention builds connection, but it does the opposite. It makes you predictable, and predictability kills desire. The moment they feel like they have you figured out, they stop trying. But if you hold back, if you stay a little mysterious, they keep watching. They want to solve the puzzle, and the puzzle is what keeps them coming back. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to always respond. You don't need to always show up. Pull back. Go silent sometimes. Leave them wondering. That wondering is where the obsession forms. You want your presence to feel earned, not expected. You want to be remembered, not just seen. This isn't about being fake. It's about knowing your worth. People respect what they have to work for. If you make your time feel rare, people will treat it like it matters. If you're always available, they'll stop noticing you. You become background noise. But if you create space, they feel it. They notice the shift. They start asking questions. That's where you have control. Not by pushing yourself forward, but by stepping back and letting them chase. Obsession doesn't come from overexposure. It comes from uncertainty, from silence, from the feeling that you could be gone at any moment. That's how you build tension. That's how you build value. That's how you build power. That's Law 1, the obsession law. Law 2, the mystery shield. When you explain yourself too much, you lose power. Most people don't realize that. They think being clear means being respected, but it's the opposite. The more someone understands your every move, the less they care. It makes you predictable, and predictable means forgettable. You don't have to defend your choices. You don't need to explain your distance. You don't need to make people feel comfortable all the time. The moment you start explaining, you shift the power to them. You let them judge your logic. And once they're judging you, you're no longer in control of how they see you. People respect confidence, not explanations. You don't need to give reasons for why you said no, why you didn't respond, why you walked away. Just do it. Let the action speak for itself. Let silence fill the space. Silence makes people think. It creates tension, and tension is where control lives. Mystery protects you. It creates a boundary people can't cross. When no one can fully read you, they can't figure out how to get to you. That's where your advantage is. They don't know what you're feeling. They don't know what you'll do next. And that uncertainty forces them to pay more attention. Most people are too easy to read. They speak just to fill the silence. They say, just to be clear, or I didn't want to be misunderstood. But that habit gives away too much. You don't need to be fully understood. You need to be respected. If silence gets you that, then silence is the better move. Don't share every thought. Don't give a full breakdown of your plans. When someone asks you what you're thinking, you don't have to answer. You're not cold for keeping things to yourself. You're just focused. And focus doesn't need to be explained. When you speak, make it count. Say less, but mean more. A short sentence can have more weight than a long speech, and a pause can say more than any words at all. If someone asks you something and you pause before answering, they'll remember that pause. They'll overthink it. They'll keep trying to read into it. That's how you stay in their mind. Mystery makes people curious, and curiosity is the root of obsession. When they don't know what you're doing, they start imagining, and their imagination will always be louder than your words. That's what makes mystery powerful. It keeps you one step ahead. You don't need to be cold or fake. You just need to protect your internal world. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your emotions, or your reasons. Keep some things for yourself. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them be unsure. That uncertainty is the shield. It blocks their attempts to control you. It keeps your value high, and it makes your presence harder to forget. That's Law 2, the mystery shield. Law 3, emotional scarcity. People think showing more emotion makes others connect with them, but too much emotion, shown too freely, doesn't build respect. It lowers it. When you're too open, too expressive, too available emotionally, people start to read you like a book. And once they know where your buttons are, they know how to push them. They know how to get what they want. They know how to control you. The truth is, when you feel less in front of them, they feel more. That's emotional scarcity. You keep your reactions low, your emotions steady, and your expressions minimal. You don't give people a front row seat to your highs and lows. That control keeps you in charge of the dynamic. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop performing it. You don't cry to prove you're hurt. You don't yell to prove you're angry. You don't explain every feeling you have to make someone else understand. You hold it in. You wait. You show only what's useful, nothing more. When someone wrongs you and you stay calm, they feel it more. When someone expects you to react and you don't, the silence hits harder. That silence makes them anxious. That calm makes them nervous. They don't know where they stand, and that's what keeps their mind on you. Most people overshare because they think it builds closeness, but in reality, it builds weakness. When you hand over your pain, your joy, your fears, all at once, you give people a way to manipulate you. You're showing your whole map, and once they've seen it, they don't have to respect it. They can use it. Emotional scarcity isn't about being empty. It's about being selective. You show your feelings to people who have earned that access. You don't give it out to everyone. You keep yourself grounded in situations that would normally shake you. That self-control builds an image people remember. It's strange, but true. The less you react, the more people start reacting to you. They project. They wonder what you're thinking. They create stories in their head to fill the silence, and those stories pull them in deeper. They start overanalyzing your words. They second-guess your silence. They want any sign that you care, and when they don't get it, they start chasing. That's emotional scarcity. You don't chase approval. You don't perform emotion. You stay still while everyone else spins around you. That stillness creates power, because in a world where everyone is emotionally loud, the quiet one stands out. And when they stand out, they get remembered. If you stay unreadable, people will always want to figure you out. And that need to understand becomes obsession. You control the pace, you control the tone, you control how close they can get. That's Law 3, emotional scarcity. And if this part spoke to you, you'll want to watch the next one. 7 behaviors you must never tolerate. Machiavelli's warning. It shows you the exact traits that ruin your power and how to cut them off early. Law 4, unpredictable rhythm. People lose interest when they can predict what's coming next. That applies to everything. How you speak, how you respond, how you move. If someone always knows when you'll reply, what you'll say, or how you'll react, they stop paying attention. You've become a routine, and no one obsesses over a routine. Obsession grows when there's doubt. Doubt comes from irregularity. That's why you can't be predictable. You need to break the rhythm. Don't always respond fast. Don't always show warmth. Don't always act the same way. Switch it up. Let them wonder who they're getting today. The calm version of you, or the distant one, the open one, or the quiet one. That tension keeps them focused. Their brain stays active, trying to decode your next move. That's where the grip tightens. Most people think consistency builds trust, and in regular life, maybe it does. But when it comes to control, consistency makes you easy to handle. If they can map your rhythm, they can plan around you. But if your pattern changes, they can't settle. They don't relax. They keep thinking about you. That's what you want. Unpredictability makes people alert. It makes them pay attention. When they don't know how you'll react, they start watching everything, your tone, your timing, your pauses. They overthink even the smallest shift, and that overthinking keeps them locked in. You don't need to be dramatic. Just small changes are enough. One day you're silent. The next day you engage. 1 week you're present. The next you vanish. It's not about being random. It's about being intentional. You change the rhythm just enough to create pressure. That pressure builds interest. When someone can't figure out what you'll do next, they stop taking you lightly. They treat your time with more care. They start putting in more effort. And even when you're not around, they're still thinking about you. That's the effect of an unpredictable rhythm. It creates a loop they can't escape. You don't owe people a consistent performance. You're not here to comfort their expectations. You're here to control the terms. If that means they get confused sometimes, let them be confused. If they start to feel a little unstable, that's fine. You're not responsible for how they handle uncertainty. The truth is, unpredictability makes you memorable. No one remembers the person who was always the same. They remember the one who surprised them, the one who didn't follow a script, the one who kept them guessing. It's not about playing games. It's about breaking habits. And when you break their habit of expecting you to act a certain way, they have to pay closer attention to everything you do. That attention becomes interest. That interest becomes obsession. That's Law 4. Unpredictable rhythm. Law 5. Withhold the blueprint. If they know what drives you, they know how to use it against you. That's why you don't hand out your blueprint. You don't let people study your mind, your motives, or your next move. The more they know, the more control they have. People always say you should be open, be vulnerable, tell your story. But if everyone knows your story, they know your weak points. They know what you want, what you fear, what you're chasing. And once they know that, they start using it, sometimes without even meaning to. You tell them you're tired of being alone. Suddenly they know how to keep you hooked. You tell them you need respect. Now they know how to take it away. The more clear you are, the easier you are to trap. But when no one knows what fuels you, they can't play you. They can't bait you. They can't stop you. Don't explain your goals. Just work toward them. Don't explain your emotions. Just manage them. Don't give people a map of your past, your plans, or your pain. That's private. That belongs to you. Let people see the results of your actions, but never the reason. Let them see you rise, but don't show the steps. If they try to copy you, they'll always be missing something. That's what makes your presence different. They can't recreate it. They can't reverse engineer it. When someone asks you what you really want, you don't need to answer. You don't need to reveal your deepest intentions just to feel seen. Let them wonder. Let them guess. The more they guess, the more they stay mentally invested. And the less they know, the less power they have. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you guard yourself. You choose what to reveal. You choose when to speak. You stay in control of how much of your inner world is shared. Because once you give it away, you can't take it back. And some people don't deserve to see it in the first place. The blueprint is your edge. It's your core. If you hand it out to anyone who asks, you're giving away your leverage. Hold it close. Move in silence. Let your actions be loud. Let your discipline be visible. But keep your drive hidden. People respect what they can't fully understand. They respect what doesn't reveal itself easily. When they can't label you, they keep watching. When they can't explain you, they stay curious. That curiosity turns into obsession. That's how you win. You don't have to be mysterious for the sake of being mysterious. You just need to protect the things that matter. Not everyone should know what fuels your fire, because if they can reach it, they'll either try to steal it or try to put it out. That's Law 5. Withhold the blueprint. Power doesn't come from showing everything. It comes from what you hold back. That's the thread connecting all 5 laws. Each one teaches control. Control of space, control of emotion, control of rhythm, control of access, and control of your story. You don't need to convince people to like you. You don't need to explain why you're distant or different. You just need to hold your value like it means something, because it does. When you stop handing out parts of yourself for free, people start noticing, they pay closer attention, they treat you differently, and that difference is where your power lives. Think about it. Most people are predictable. They share too much, too fast. They react the same way every time. They explain things that don't need explaining, and they wonder why no one respects them, why no one stays interested. It's because they've given away all the tension. they've removed all the space. But when you do the opposite, when you stay quiet, when you pull back, when you stay unreadable, something changes. You stand out. You become harder to forget. People start thinking about you, even when you're not around, not because you begged for attention, but because your silence said more than words ever could. Each of these 5 laws gives you a way to shift how others see you. The obsession law teaches you to create space on purpose. The mystery shield reminds you to stop explaining and let people guess. Emotional scarcity shows you how to hold back your feelings so they don't get used against you. Unpredictable rhythm keeps people alert and chasing. And withholding the blueprint protects your core from manipulation. Together, they make you someone people can't figure out. And when they can't figure you out, they don't forget you. You don't need to perform. You don't need to pretend. You just need to stop being so available. Stop being so easy to read. Start holding yourself like someone with weight. Because when you do, everything changes. People stop seeing you as common. They start seeing you as rare. That's the real switch. You don't ask for power. You become someone who already has it. Someone who doesn't need to raise their voice to be heard. Someone who can walk away without saying a word and still be remembered. That's what these laws create. Not fake confidence, but quiet control. You don't need to master all of this at once. Just start noticing where you're giving too much. Notice when you're explaining too often. Notice when you're reacting too quickly. Then pull back a little. Let the silence do the work. Let people feel the shift. Most won't understand what you're doing. That's fine. It's not for them to understand. It's for them to feel. And if they feel it enough, they'll start chasing it. That's the end of the 5 laws. But if you want to stay sharp, keep watching videos that show you what to avoid. One of the most important ones is this: 7 behaviors you must never tolerate. Machiavelli's warning. Go watch it next. It'll help you see the red flags before they waste your time or take your power. Everything comes down to this: be rare, be calm, be unreadable, and let them come to you.